Hey everybody, this is Alex Merced from Alex Merced Coder, and just so you're aware, my bird is with me, my cockatiel Wally, so you might hear him flying around or making sounds in the background. I think he just flew away and landed on my head. Okay, so I'll be doing this video with a bird on my head. Okay, anyways, in my previous video where I was talking about destructuring with functions, I did the whole video on destructuring like the value that the function returns, but there still was one more important piece that I wanted to make sure that I covered, and that's destructuring parameters. Okay, um, so for example, okay, and this is really used when you're using like other libraries that pass in big chunks of information by default into another object. Like I use this a lot with GraphQL because it passes in like the entire parent object sometimes, and I only need certain values out of that parent object. So let's give you an example. So let's say I have this object here, const my obj, okay, equals const my obj equals name Alex, age 34, and that's fine. Okay, so then here we have function, and I know, well, let's see here, const, I'd rather do this way, arrow function, const my func equals, now if I know that this object is going to be passed in as a parameter, so like I know like a object of this shape, it has these parameters inside of it, because you already know that it's this set thing that's being passed in, well, I can just destructure it right from the parameter list, so I can just be like name age. And this will destructure the very first parameter that's passed in, assuming it's an object, take the name property, store it in a variable called name and age, and now what I can do, just to show you, I can console.log both of them as freestanding variables. Okay, and this is actually something I've used quite a bit nowadays. So let's see here, let's test this out. Save, actually run the function. My func, my obj. Save. Unexpected. So that's if I have an extra curly bracket somewhere. So let's see here. Doot. Joking. Oh, I forgot the arrow. Save. And there you go. See, basically what happens is this object gets passed in as a parameter. It sees this, it destructures it, pulls the name and age properties, so that way they're freestanding variables, which I'm now able to access. Now the only downside is that in this scenario, any other properties, since I only destructured name and age, are no longer accessible. So if I still wanted the object to be in there, I could destructure it afterwards. So if I still wanted access to the object, I could be like obj, and then destructure the thing. So name age equals obj. So that way I still have the rest of the object and still freestanding here. But if you know that you don't need the rest of the properties, those are the only properties you need, you can do that, and that's actually going to be less, it's going to be a slight performance upgrade. But, you know, over time, you know, enough little efficiencies here and there could make a difference. But it's also just good practice. Because it makes it clear what I'm trying to do. It makes it clear that the only thing I really want, the only thing I'm planning on using, is this name and age property. And later on, there's another property. So if I do this again, it's Control X, and then later on I do need another property, I can just go back and add it. I can just be like, okay, other property. So that way I'm only really collecting the variables I know, and that way when someone else reads my code, they know exactly what I'm pulling out from it. What do I plan on using? It just kind of expresses intention a little bit better. Now what I haven't tried before is destructuring an array as a parameter. So let's try that out. Let's give it a shot. So let's change this to my array. Const my r equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm sure this should work. Logically, it should. So essentially, the way that would work is I would just do brackets instead here, and do 1, 2, and this would only grab the rest. So this would grab 1, this would grab 2, and then what I'll do is I'll use the rest operator, and we'll call this 3, 4, 5. And this variable will, what this does, it stores the rest of the array in this variable here, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I've just destructured that array here, and let's see if that works. So let's console log those variables. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now we're going to pass in my R as the parameter. Save. And that works. So you can destructure a array passed as a parameter as well. So that's pretty cool. I've haven't had a need for that yet. But I could imagine that, like, hey, you know, you're being passed an array of students, and you really only need the first one. So what you might do is just kind of do that. You would just maybe do this, go 1, grab the first item in the array, and then not use the rest of the array or something like that. Because if I did that, it would only grab the first value from that array that's passed in. And save. How many you go? 1. So that's the cool thing. Destruction can be used on the way out of the function and on the way into the function. And this again allows for just more elegant code, code that's just more expressive of intention, that's more succinct, and again, less typing always is nice. And if you can type less and be more clear, that's awesome. So very, very nice. Destructuring, spread and rest operators, arrow functions, all these things are very sexy. Also, ternary operators are very awesome, but I'm not talking about ternary operators today. But just saying, these things make me happy. Okay, so I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a great one and enjoy.